we've not been able to keep up with the rest of the world. We've improved, but the rest of the world has been moving faster.
At the end of the day, decision making and technical capability is going to be the key to people's success at the elite level.
This is no longer about Ontario Cups and teams winning national championships. It's about individuals excelling and progressing.
Right now, for the first time in my life, I see a quality infrastructure in place.
Parents and coaches and organisations need to understand that it's long-term player development. To see results over a year, 2 years, even 5 years, we have to be patient.
Ontario's new talented pathway for elite players has changed to create better opportunities than ever before and for many more aspiring players. Importantly, the pathway will be fully aligned with the Canadian Soccer Association's Player Development Program to create a true high-performance environment for Ontario's best players.
We've been able at times to be able to live or compete at the world stage, at times to get into these World Cups at the youth level, but the consistency to be able to come and play at the World Cup in the men's game, for instance, we've not seen that since 1986.
As Ontario clubs and coaches know by now, LTPD principles are well established in much of the soccer playing world.
It's based on research from some of the best countries who play soccer around the world, the best academies, some of the best football clubs. We've looked at all that and put that all together in one document that suits the Canadian soccer program.
It's sound research, so if it works for the Spains and the Germanys of the world, certainly we can steal some of their ideas. We're going to Canadianise them. We're going to make sure it fits our culture and our environment, but certainly it's based on good sound principles from leading football countries around the world.
In short, OSA is ensuring we put the players' development first. There is a clear pathway for all players now. For those looking to reach the highest levels of the sport, they can now look ahead with a clear understanding of how they can play for Canada or play professionally, a path that was not so clear in past years.
My team was Malvern Magic growing up, and we had, I think it was 9 of us that made the provincial team, and there's maybe about 4 or 5 of us that actually went on to play at various levels. I'm the only one that went on to play professionally, but there was something along there, the lines of the developmental process we missed out on, that these kids could have potentially been in the World Cup team, could potentially represent their country, but there should still be a system implemented where, you know, these kids could still fulfill their dreams and still potentially play at the national team level or even play at a high level further on in the developmental process throughout their career.
One of the key elements of the talented pathway is the creation of a high-performance, standards-based program which brings together many of the holistic support services that help players develop to their potential.
Standards of coaching with that certification.
Play. Good try. Instead of trying to pass the ball forward, who else was open?
Whether it's facilities, whether it's medical, whether it's sports science, whatever it is to better enhance that environment for a player to excel in, we need to continue to ensure that that is being provided for our best athletes.
It's exciting because we've certainly aligned now with our national body, the CSA, which comes down with a technical philosophy and a concept of how we develop talented players, talented coaches, getting this inclusive approach of raising the quality of the game, really.
The creation of the Ontario Player Development League, which involves clubs that have met established high-performance standards, now offers elite players a 24-game season, an 11-month periodized calendar, and perhaps most importantly, a proper balance between games and practice.
Where we're talking about the OPDL, we needed to start with a strong value system. So if the league has a strong value system and that is being reinforced down to an OPDL club environment, it will go down to the player. Without a strong value system, a player cannot excel in development regardless. There'll be no sustainability long term for that player.
Player movement and progression along the talented pathway, which will include players migrating to the best playing opportunities, will require a player-first attitude at the club level. When a club has done all it can for a player, the player should be helped to find the environment that will move them further along the pathway. This will be recognized and celebrated.
We have to stop focusing at such a young age on this, cups and championship winning teams. It's all about development. Because I think what better pride a coach would have to say, okay, I have 10 trophies, or I have 4 or 5 players playing at the top flight, in Europe, in MLS, playing for the national team. I think that would be more gratifying for a coach. I know it would be for me if I was a coach.
Through the talented pathway, there will be greater opportunity for players to be identified provincially as well as nationally. And not only due to better exposure, but also because our talent development managers will be looking for attributes beyond just size and speed, so they can identify talented youngsters that in the past may not have been considered potential stars.
At the end of the day, decision making and technical capability is going to be the key to people's success at the elite level, not physical. So what we know is that the gene pool of elite athletes, you don't need to be a Usain Bolt. You don't have to absolutely have a certain type of body type. Footballers have quite a wide gene pool.
If we can be patient with them as a coach, then it gives them the opportunity to grow in their own time, and those players may eventually become that elite player, and rather than letting them fall through the cracks, we're kind of nurturing that learning in a different way. And then as the players develop, they get appropriate training, so you can push the standards as they grow.
It's a culture change in terms of how we develop and nurture our players. And while embracing change is often difficult, some of the most respected soccer minds in Canada have embraced long-term player development and its principles.
Long-term player development just gives you those guidelines of the jigsaw piece you have to put in at this age to help them build and grow as a player, as an athlete.
The benefits of the new talented pathway will be underpinned by the new long-term player development implementation at early development stages. This may not be seen immediately in our talented pathway, but experienced coaches continue to stress one very important word.
We have to be patient.
Patience. Patient. Right now, for the first time in my life, I see a quality infrastructure in place. Let's become more qualified, and you'll see within the next 15 to 20 years the fruits of all our labors that we're starting now. We're just planting the seeds now. It's going to take years for that evergreen to grow. It's not going to take just 30 days before we can finally say, holy smokes, this is fantastic.